Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. We are live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. The usual thing, I have to make sure that the technique is working. I'm trying some new things, guys. I want to see if it works with my earpods. I'm using some new coaching, some new technical. Some new technicality, some new technique when I'm doing my coachings, and now I want to see if it works on YouTube. So bear with me if I want to show you something, because I see this as the questions are rolling in. You guys are asking some questions about exercises, which I want to demonstrate on the floor right there. And yeah, so I want to see how this works. And now I'm actually doing a mic check right now, and I have to see what works, because right now I'm connected through my AirPods. And the stream is about 15 to 20 seconds behind. So give me a second, guys. Give me a second. I want to. Yes. Aha! Awesome! It works. It works. It works. How awesome! So awesome when stuff works, right? Because the more gadgets you're using, the higher the dropout rate, or the fallout rate. Now, guys, thank you so much for joining. It's been a while since I've done one of these. The last one was in September 21. And we're actually having a lot of stuff to do, especially after January. Things are going great. We're incredibly grateful. And before I get into the questions, I see you guys are already asking questions. It's awesome. Thank you so much. Switzerland has dropped the mandates as of now. So in Switzerland, we're indoors now, maskless, and things are looking different as of now. And I just want to say a couple of words about this situation. I don't want to make it political. This is not the idea. I just one thing that I want to mention. And they say that the danger is now not as imminent as it was before. And all of a sudden, it goes like this, boom. And everything's back to normal, so to speak. Somehow a strange feeling and a strange situation, but, we're grateful. But there's one thing that I want to say. And I know some people are going to agree, some people are going to disagree. That's totally fine. I love you guys. I love when you guys agree with me. I love when you disagree with me, because it's all about communal learning. And that is... I'm so appreciative. I appreciate the fact that I live in Switzerland. I believe that Switzerland is the oasis of Europe. And I'm appreciative of the fact that I can live here and do my business and work normal. And I have a lot of empathy and love for people who are still in that difficult situation, especially in Canada right now and all around the world. So again, I'm privileged, and living in Switzerland is a privilege. I remember when I had the podcast with Geronimo Milo from Buenos Aires in Argentina. If you haven't watched it, go check it out. We talked about the history and the origins of kettlebells, and it's just powerful. And he's done extensive work. This man is a national treasure of Argentina. And thanks to him, I've learned so many things about the kettlebell. I've discovered a completely new strata that I didn't see before. I love the word strata. I got it from Russell Brand. And he explained how the situation was in Argentina back then, when he had to go to a foundry similar to what Sean Mosen did back in the day in Canada. And they were producing kettlebells on their own. And it was so difficult, because he said it was so difficult to import anything into Argentina because the taxes and the customs are killing you. It's almost impossible. So we had to come up with a solution. And I realized even back in 2013, 2011, when I would consider we're already a few years in the modern renaissance that Pavel was responsible for, the modern renaissance of kettlebells. I used to call it the revolution, but now after understanding the origins of where kettlebells come from, I don't think it's a revolution. I consider it a renaissance because the kettlebell has already been in Europe. It was already in the West. It was already here. It just came back. But you got to watch the origins video with Geronimo and then watch the other origins video that I did about 20 minutes long. It's a huge video. And, you know, in Switzerland, I have access to everything. It's 2013, 2010. I have access to anything and everything. You can import stuff. It's not hard to do. You get the information. It's an oasis, guys. So I'm appreciative of the fact that I live in Switzerland, but one thing that I'm having some kind of a problem with is saying thank you to our Bundesrat. You know, the Bundesrat is the political entity that was calling the shots in those 2 years. And they call the shots generally, it's 7 people of them, but we have a huge voting system. The Swiss voting system is really, it's democracy, 100%. And yes, we voted for these mandates and all that kind of stuff. I don't want to get into the political side of things. It's just what I want to say is, it's hard for me to say thank you to our Bundesrat that they gave us back the freedom that I believe that they didn't have a right to take away in the first place. But, you know, that being said, I just wanted to say this, and I love you guys. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, we have received some emails from people who disagree with us in certain topics, and you know what? I love it. It's great. It's great. Discussions and productive, constructive, not destructive, constructive and productive feedback and discussions. That's what I welcome because that's how I grow. I tell all these guys on the podcast that I'm having, I'm saying, guys, thanks to you, I have grown in dog years. My experience in kettlebells and coaching has matured in dog years. 1 year feels like it's 7 years. You have to imagine, Lebe Stark is now, it's the 6th year. Its inception was 2016. But even back then, even earlier, I was working at a local gym. And kettlebells is fairly new to us. You know, that's the crazy thing. That's why Cap from Kettlebell Dojo from New Zealand said, man, bro, you hit the ground running. And yes, it was because I had a great sensei, my sensei, Steve Carter, who taught me the foundation of kettlebells in 2019 prior to the pandemic. And wow, I mean, we've been rocking with kettlebells ever since the pandemic hit. So I got to be grateful for the pandemic, like I said so many times. And yeah, not grateful for the repercussions, of course, and people suffer through it. You know where I'm coming from, just from a certain extent. And another thing that I want to mention with you guys, it's crazy how our online business has grown to 398%. You have to imagine, in 2019 was the strongest year that we experienced at Lebe Stark. 2020, we lost 19% revenue. In 2021, we lost 29% revenue compared to the strongest and biggest year that we had, revenue-wise. But even though that sounds dismal, I have to acknowledge the fact that the online business grew to 398% compared to 2019. So there's always light at the end of the tunnel, my friends, let me tell you. Having a positive outlook on life doesn't mean that you walk around with glasses filled with rainbow colors, but it means that you are trying to prepare yourself for war. When war hits, that's why I love this beautiful Latin saying that says, "Si vis pacem para bellum." If you want peace, you have to prepare for war. That's what's up, ladies and gentlemen. A little word from our sponsors, and then I jump into your questions. Stravo. My name is of no importance to you. Just know this. I sponsored today's video of Lebe Stark. In the back you see my friend Igor. We are both hunting for good kettlebell channels. Make sure you like and subscribe to the Lebe Stark YouTube channel. Or else, comrade, we can't consider you to be a true student of the art of kettlebell training. You heard what Igor said. Okay, let's jump into the questions. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining. Now, Sean is asking, can you speak to the future of where Lebe Stark is going? Programs, company, online community, etc. Thanks. So I already touched on this a little bit, Sean, so I hope that already helped you. Hey, we have 42 people tuning in. Awesome. Thank you for joining. Sean, program-wise, you know, the academy has grown. It's crazy. We have over 1,000 enrollments and over close to 650 members and students that signed up to the Lebe Stark Academy. where we have 90 days of kettlebells. And the funny thing is when you know your product reaches product market fit. Product market fit is when you have a product that hits the market and it fits. It's like boom, yeah, bah, that's it. Wow, people like it. You have a niche. You have you have people who like what you do. And with 90 days of kettlebells, when you go on Google and you type in 90 days, it already comes as autocomplete. So that's like, wow, people are looking for this stuff, which is awesome. So 90 days of kettlebells, what is the workout course that we have? And I don't want to get into the sales pitch right now. You'll see it at the end of the stream. 90 days of kettlebells is just a workout program that we sell on our academy. This is not a sales pitch. I'm just trying to explain where we're going. And what I had with 90 days of kettlebells was you have these 3 months of work, right? So 3 months of 3 kettlebell workouts per week. And we combined it with some easy to follow nutrition coaching where we built 3 nutritional habits. So the goal of 90 days of kettlebells is to help you get in shape of your life for the rest of your life. That's the idea of 90 days of kettlebells. Of course, this is a lofty goal and it's impossible to change your life in 3 months. Long term, I'm not saying that you cannot make incredibly drastically powerful changes in 3 months, yet you want to realize and acknowledge the fact that it takes longer. I just talked to my mother today and I told her I've realized when it comes to building habits, you know what's important? Frequency and duration. These 2 aspects are important. You want to do your new habit as often as you can, as long as you can. So when 90 days of kettlebells hit, we've updated it, I think, twice now. The first update was we added a bonus month at no additional charge. So people can now jump into the bonus month, which is fairly intense. And then we've changed another thing. We've had 90 days of kettlebells was equipped with the support group where we are meeting and having conversations like I'm having with you guys. The difference is I'm having a Zoom call and I see your faces. And that's the beautiful thing, man. Sometimes I only see emails, I only see names, and then I get to see your beautiful faces and have a beautiful conversation. And yeah, it's awesome. I love this. And this is what we did with 90 Days of Kettlebells with the support group. So I implemented this once a month, and it worked pretty well. I think we started in September or October with our first 90 Days of Kettlebell support group. That being said, we also started with the Hybrid Style Masterclass in September 2021, which was a huge success. It's big. It's a very expensive course, of course. And people ask me like, "Are you crazy? You're asking $997 for a course? You must be stupid." Well, the reason is there's 2 years worth of material in that course. And you get live form checks, feedback. This is a technique course. This is for people who want to geek out on the kettlebell. This is not for people who just want to touch on the kettlebell and see if it fits. And if you are that person, that's totally fine. I'm rooting for you. I think it's awesome. I think it's perfect that you discovered the kettlebell. A month later, you're not into kettlebells anymore, but you're still moving. Awesome. Nevertheless, with the Hybrid Style Masterclass, we came up with this once a month coaching session. And so I had these 2 monthly sessions rolling. And I was like, okay, on one hand, we have the support group. On the other hand, we have these technique sessions. Yet people could, from all our members and students from our academy could benefit from these sessions. So I started the School of Physical Culture. And the School of Physical Culture, by the way, I got this name from Ivan Lebedev. And Ivan Lebedev was a pivotal figure in Tsarist Russia at the beginning of the 20th century who came up with a lot of kettlebell exercises that we know and use today. And his good friend and mentor was Dr. Krajewski. And Krajewski was influenced from the Europeans. It's so fascinating when you trace the origin story of kettlebells. So Ivan Lebedev came up with the idea of calling it the School of Culture, the School of Physical Culture, in honor of Dr. Krajewski's death. Now here it comes. The reason why I came up with the name and why I used Ivan Lebedev's name is because it's actually inspired from Dr. Krajewski. Dr. Krajewski, you have to realize the fact, and I want to share this because I feel it's my duty. This guy was the most pivotal figure in promoting kettlebell training in Tsarist Russia. Even before Lebedev. And Lebedev was his student. So Dr. Krajewski was this bright, wonderful, beautiful figure, and he is described by my main man, nothing less but a bookshelf is breaking apart. None other than the legendary George or Georg Hackenschmidt, and that's his book, The Way to Live. I highly recommend it. It's an awesome book. It's easy to read. It's, what is it? 135 pages. Awesome book. So, Georg Hackenschmidt describes Dr. Krajewski as this beautiful figure who loved the school, who loved the idea of physical culture. And to make a long story short, Georg Hackenschmidt said that Dr. Krajewski was pivotal in creating this idea that he was serving everybody. Everybody who needed his help, he wanted to serve them. So that's my idea. That's why I came up and I took this idea. I took this because I was so inspired by this bright figure. So I was like, yup, man, I got to do this, man. I got to come up with the School of Physical Culture. And now, if you decide to jump on the academy, if you buy one of our courses, you have access throughout the whole year to join our monthly School of Physical Culture. That's my contribution, and that's one thing that I've really changed. And I think the academy is awesome. We have so many great things happening in the academy. I'm getting to know people from all over the world. I mean, I'm getting to know people all over the world thanks to you guys. You guys are from all over the world, which I really enjoy. And yeah, so that's it. The company and online community, like I mentioned, it's building. We're building it. The YouTube channel is growing. I'm going all in. This is not going to stop. When I check my analytics, I think in 2.5 or maybe 3 years, I reached the 100K. 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. If the growth continues like it is today, and I want this. I want the silver play button. I want this, and I have uploaded 1,027 videos to the channel. Crazy. I'm a nut, but I love it, man. I love it. So yeah. Marcin, would you please suggest best kettlebell exercises for mountain runners? I would say swings and squats, and I would do both things. I would engage in hardstyle swings to build strength. I would also use squats to just give your legs an all-around good, solid foundation. And then I would also engage into a hybrid swing mentality or the kettlebell sports swing, where you're building your strength endurance because they're connected. It's important. That's what I would do. Pade, ich benutze Kettlebells hauptsächlich für Klimmzüge mit Zusatzgewichten. So he says he's using Kettlebells mainly for pull-ups and dips with additional weight. Meine schwerste Kettlebell ist 68 Kilo. Oh, wow. His heaviest kettlebell is 68 kg. And he's thinking about getting an 80 kg kettlebell for dips and heavy swings. Do it, man. Do it. 80 kg swings? Wow. And you know, what's crazy is if you are really getting proficient with the hardstyle swing and you have a great kinesthetic sense and you have a great, solid, strong foundation, you will up these weights pretty quickly. Sounds solid, my brother. Awesome. Jack, Defoe, best kettlebell exercises for biceps. Well, let me tell you. And let me show you. Boom, 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 boom. Switching to the front. Check this out, guys. I think one of the greatest exercises that you can do for the biceps is, and that was a great comment that I've received on YouTube, because one of our subscribers said, well, you have been critical. Haven't you been critical of bicep exercises with the kettlebell? And I said, yes, I was. And I still am to a certain degree. I think most people on a broad population basis who don't train, who don't lift, most people rather engage, for example, into a clean, where you need more muscle mass, more of your body to move instead of doing curls for your biceps. Yet doesn't mean that it's not useful or that you cannot use the exercise. So this changed my perspective to a certain extent, because what changed my perspective to a certain extent, I'm getting ahead of myself, was learning about the original story, the history of the kettlebell, where I saw that these old school strongmen really discovered and were using kettlebells for biceps exercises. And the one that I'm going to show you was described by Theodor Siebert. And Theodor Siebert was also a pivotal German figure of physical education. I think he was around 1899, his book, The Catechism of Athletics. I read it in German. It's an awesome book. I read the second edition, which came out 8 years later, so 1907 or something. And there's stuff in that book that is still relevant today. So Siebert described one exercise that I call the Siebert press. And let me demonstrate this first with a barbell, because the exercise was designed to be done with a barbell. So this is what the exercise looked like. Let me demonstrate it first. So standing in front of the barbell, bringing it up, curling it, turning around, pressing it, coming down, pivoting again, curling it. So this exercise, I call it now the Seabot press, because he called it Stange mit Gewichten zur Schulter heben. Just a German description, which is fairly long. So I thought, hey, why not call it the Seabot press? Now we can adapt this. 16 kg is too heavy. It's too heavy for a girl. We can adapt this with a 12 kg kettlebell. It's different, of course, because of the weight distribution, and you got to watch your wrist, but it looks like this. Actually, you probably don't need to press. You can just curl the weight up, but I just love this exercise to press the weight up, because then you also work your triceps as well. You work your arms, and you give your biceps a few seconds to relax. Okay, so that would be the greatest or the best exercise for your biceps.
Stravo, my name is of no importance to you. Just know this. I sponsored today's video of Lebe Stark. In the back you see my friend Igor. We are both hunting for good kettlebell channels. Make sure you like and subscribe to the Lebe Stark YouTube channel. Or else, comrade, we can't consider you to be a true student of the art of kettlebell training.
You heard what the master said. Let's keep going with the questions. Fitness Arena MTL, my brother. Hello, I hope everyone is doing well. My question is why do you work for time and not for reps? Are you not worried about muscle imbalances when working one side at a time? It's a great question. The reason why I work for time is because I don't like counting. Simple. I don't like counting reps, and I think the kettlebell is a different beast. Of course, you can use the kettlebell and count reps. Of course, you can do it. But I consider the kettlebell more as a ballistic tool that works best with time. Or that's just my personal touch. And when you are not sure about imbalances, then you just can count in your head and be like, okay, I set the timer for 2 minutes, and then I do 5 reps, whatever, clean and press or whatever. Then I put the kettlebell down, I rest. And then I get back at it. And the reason why I think a timer is so effective, or this consecutive method is so effective, is because then you keep moving throughout. Many people, when they engage in training, is they do the typical bodybuilding type style training. Nothing wrong with that, but for maybe it's not suited for everybody. What I believe what many people need is continuous movement and be continuous exercising and breathing and using your whole body as a full unit. Even Georg Hackenschmidt says, and that's a great recommendation that I took from him, is when you're taking breaks in your rests, keep walking and breathing, keep walking and breathing, keep the mechanism going, keep the organism going. That's actually what we now do, not only in our training, but also with our clients. So of course, I don't think for time works better or is better than reps, especially when you work with heavier weights. Maybe it's a better thing to count reps. When I do the bench press, I still count my reps. When I do the barbell squat, I still count my reps. But with the kettlebell, I just love to boom, and then I'm just focusing. I'm focused on my technique. I focus on perfecting the exercise, and then the only thing that I have to pay attention to is an audio cue. Boom, and then I'm switching sides or whatever. Marcin, what will be your suggestion how to try back to kettlebell training after injury? Greetings from Poland. Thank you. Sending you love back. You know, it's hard for me to give you a recommendation when you guys have injured or hurt yourself. My recommendation is talk to your doc first, and then talk to your therapist and see what they say. And once you're pain-free, you can just start with the basic maneuvers, with the grinds, and then once you feel comfortable, maybe you get back into the ballistics. or even, you know, some people who have pain, they actually do better with the ballistics because it's soft on the joints, yet it requires more technique. Amy, I'm 2 months new to kettlebells and all in. Awesome. Should I gradually increase weight or reps? I would increase time. I think one of the best methods to increase when you are just using kettlebells on a general purpose, you want it to touch all bases: mobility, strength, endurance, soft on the joints, and you want to get a great feeling for the kettlebell, I would just up the time. So that would probably equal to upping the reps first. And then once you're comfortable with the reps, then you can upgrade the weight. I think depending on your goal, if you ask me, Gregory, I'm doing a hard style swing for 2 months now. I'm very solid with the exercise. Should I do more reps or use heavier weight? In that regard, I would say use heavier weight because you need better, proper feedback, because you have gotten better with the exercise. And with a hard style swing, the idea is to build explosive strength. Yet if you ask me, you're more into strength endurance or just want to touch all bases a little bit, that we call the hybrid idea, where you just use some sport, some hard style methods, then I would advise you to say, okay, you're now doing 3 minutes of swings. You're safe with it. Now upgrade to 3.5 minutes, or maybe upgrade to 4. And then once you reach maybe 5 minutes and you're like, wow, really feeling safe with the exercise, then you can maybe upgrade the weight. You see, what you have to learn is when I'm giving you these feedbacks and these answers and these replies and these recommendations, please bear in mind it's always nuanced. I'm just giving you a surface perspective, a bird's eye view perspective answer. Always keep that in mind. When is a good time to increase in weight, and how do you know? Would you stick to the standard 4 kg increments or use the hall weights? The half weights, hall weights. Joe, when is a good time to increase in weight, and how do you know? I think it's goal specific, you know. And for example, I'm using evergreen weights. 20 kg, 24 kg, these are my evergreen weights. We just had one of our clients who's been working with us for years now. He upgraded to a 24 kg for the first time at his Turkish get up. Yeah. And he loves it, and it's awesome. And he's gotten used to the Turkish get up with the 20 kg. We started, you know, back in the day with 12, then 16, 20, then 22, and then 24. So I think these half increments, they really make sense, especially if you want to improve your technique. If you want to work on practice, then these half increments, they make a lot of sense. Yet the heavier ones, the 4 kg increments, also make sense because they shock your body. So for example, when you do a drop set, double jerks with 224s, and then you jump back to the 20s, you're like, woo, these kettlebells are made of air. So that's the shock method, or we call it scare tactics, okay? So it's hard to say when and how, always depends on your goal, but if you have the possibility to halve the increments, do it. Hey Kim, can I swing if I have low back stenosis, please? You guys gotta help me. What is a stenosis? I'm not a doc, man. Let's check this out. What is a stenosis? Stenosis. Angeboren of Verenging der Blutgefäße in einer normalen Passage. Oh, that's a very great question, man. I'd love to know the answer to this, but I'm not a doc. I'm not familiar with this particular issue that you're having. And if the stenosis is down in your lumbar region, which seems to indicate if you have it from that post that I just read, I'm not sure, man. You probably ask your doc. And what would Stuart McGill say? Probably, you know, if your doc gives you a general goal that you can work with kettlebell, or that you can train and work with kettlebells, then just give it a shot, see how it works, see how it feels. It's maybe even a good thing. Right? It's hard to say. So I can't give a recommendation. Talk to the doc and then maybe listen to your body and see how it goes. The Ice King. What is the best cardio machine to complement kettlebells to fill in the kettlebell's weakness? Rowing, ski erg, bike, or something else? I think rowing is one of the greatest exercises that you can do. Rowing is powerful. I mean, the ski erg is also cool. The bike is just legs only. It's also, everything's great. But if you just ask me, fill in the kettlebell weakness, I mean, if you are using the kettlebell as a cardio tool, I don't think you need any of these. That's another perspective that you can maybe ask yourself, like, hey, how can I use the kettlebell for cardio? Well, do 10 minutes of snatches and switch every 5 reps, or go competition mode, 5 minutes with the left side, 5 minutes with the right side, or 10 minutes with only one hand switch. That's tough. I gotta have great technique. But we use the kettlebells as cardio because we believe the kettlebell fills in for cardio as well. But if you want to go a step further, I think I'm a huge fan of rowing. What do you think of Pavel's ANA and metabolic workouts? Are they as superior as claimed to other modalities? What is ANA and metabolic workouts? I think what I know where Pavel's coming from. He's coming from the AGT method, anti-glycolytic training. And from my understanding, what anti-glycolytic training means is don't destroy yourself. Don't kill yourself. Don't go CrossFit mode with the kettlebell because you don't have to. Because if you do, it's maybe more detrimental than beneficial. And I support that idea. I also support, I've really dialed down my intense workout experience or going intense balls to the walls. Sometimes we love to do it where we say, hey, we just want to go balls to the walls every now and then. You know, they call it flipping the crazy switch, I think Pavel calls it. You can call it whatever you want. Like I said, going balls to the walls or going all in. Sometimes I like it, but I have come to the understanding that it's a better practice for me. I work out 4 times per week to engage with this sense of training, not the sense of working out and destroying myself. And the workouts have gotten shorter and they've gotten not only more intense. It's not about intensity. It's about intention. They've gotten more intentional, more practice oriented or strength oriented. And even with our clients, we do the same thing, and we get great feedback from our clients. One of our clients, for example, she said, I love this idea of lifting heavy and working out intensely or working intense, yet always being able to fully recover because you don't have to kill yourself. And then I love coming to the gym. I love coming into booking my sessions and coming and working out with you guys because I see, wow, I'm capable of so much, and I love getting to know the kettlebell without it killing me. Sometimes you have to leave the comfort zone. Yes, we understand it, but I have really drawn back my idea of intensity. Live demo YouTube, my brother. Yeah, Tim, ich war leise. I was pretty quiet, yeah, because I was switching the mic. But let me switch back and see if I show you something else. If I can switch it. No, it's full. It's full. It's full. Wait a second, guys. Let me see if I can do something in the. No. Yeah, it's a little bit more quiet, but hey, that's what's up. Come back. We can hear the audio on the AirPods, but it's not as crisp as your PC mic. Yeah, that's what's up. It's not the same as this great microphone that I'm having right here. That's an awesome mic. It's a Rode NT. What is it? NT USB. If any one of you guys are thinking about podcasting, NT USB Rode. This is not paid. It's not a paid advertisement. I just love that. I just love that mic. It's great. It's plug and play. CrossFit Dad. Just started my kettlebell journey after 4 years of CrossFit. Loving your content. It's helped so much so far. Thank you so much, brother. I hope I didn't offend anybody when I said going into CrossFit mode with the intensity. Because guys, you have to understand, I think CrossFit has done a lot of good, but it also done a lot of harm. Because why am I saying this? We know that the injury risk in CrossFit is a little bit higher than in other areas. I mean, there's even scientific articles that prove this. Or that let's say not prove, but that go into that direction. Now, that being said, I just saw somebody who started following us. And so I checked out his profile, and he was heavily injured with his ACL. He tore his ACL. So I think he's out of the game for 2 or 3 months, or 1 to 2 months. And he posted this on Instagram, and then he had a few slides on. So the last slide was, that's what CrossFit is about. It's about destroying yourself. It's about breaking yourself, and you always learn new things. Now, I was not in that hardcore mentality, but somewhere along those lines. And now I believe when it comes to longevity and health, I don't think it's maybe the best option if you always keep killing yourself. And what really gave me, not the chills, but what really gave me some thoughts. I was thinking when I read his post was he's wearing this injury like a badge of honor. And the comments as well, they were like, yeah, I know what it feels like, but you're going to push through. Blah, blah, blah. And everybody's like, ooh, I know that feeling. Like with that sense of accomplishment, which I think is tricky, to say the least. Because you haven't accomplished anything if you've injured yourself. If you've injured yourself, that's a sign that you went too far and that you maybe have to change something. At the same time, maybe this was just my perspective and my perception of his content and his post, and he didn't even mean it to come across like this. Zurich is the best city ever. Amy, well, I don't live in Zurich, but it's fairly close. You know, when you talk about American standards or just in international standards, it's a 50-minute drive, and you're in Zurich. It's if you ask me, I love the place where I live. It's quiet, it's nice. We're in the Lake of Constance, so that's more of a village. I'm not the city type. I think Luzern is a way more beautiful city. Luzern is the most beautiful city in Switzerland, I believe. Will you at any point be doing seminars around the world? And do you plan to come up with your own certification route? Sean, we actually had somebody was asking if we would give a seminar in Bari in Italy, but I didn't hear anything back. We're most definitely open to doing this, especially after the world has come back to normal. I'm most definitely open to that idea. But I'm not open to traveling around the world with all these strange and crazy and stupid restrictions all around the place where like, okay, in this country I got to do this, here I got to do that, here I got to do this. I don't want that. If it comes back to normal, I'm always open. People can always talk to me. It would be a great idea, and I would love to. Yet, you got to see how things turn out. I'm also a person who really enjoys staying in the same place for a very long time. So yeah, but you never know. And yeah, we're planning up with our own certification route. Well, people have asked this for a couple of times now, and my answer is always the same. If we start certifying people, if I start certifying people, then I would take a completely different route. If we certify people, it would at least be a 1-year course where you first have to understand all the theoretical aspects of kettlebell training. Then you have to be solid with the technique. I want to see that your swing looks like it's been done thousands of times. The third aspect that I need to see in a coach is how can you teach it? Because just getting certified and just getting tested, the fitness test was also something that I would include. That's what a lot of certifications do, but I would go even a step further, and then I would say, listen, you have to show me that you can teach. And then the last point would be you have to be filled with empathy. And that's at least one year or maybe 1.5 years or maybe even a 2-year certification. And it will cost a lot of money. Because you know why I'm doing this? You know what's crazy? When you charge a lot of money, you get a different kind of clientele. I'm not saying that people who don't have a lot of money are the people who are willing to spend that money are better off or socially better off. I'm not saying that stuff. What I'm saying is if you are charging less than you're worth, then you always get a different vibe and a different type of customer. That's just the reality of doing business. And as soon as you start charging in the higher places, that's when you get people. I just had one of our clients. I had one session with him today, and he was there. He had a well-lit room. He had the camera in place. He had the kettlebells in the back. He was barefoot, he was ready, and he had a book in his hands, and he was taking notes. And these are the type of people that I want. These are the type of people that I want to talk to and that I want to share material with. Because I'm that type of people. Doesn't mean that if you're somebody who just, like I mentioned, who just wants to brush on the kettlebell, that you're the wrong person, or that you are a problematic person, or that I don't like you. No, that's not the case. I just love working with people who are really dedicated. That's what's up. I'm still waiting. It says 1.5 minutes ago. Oh, okay. Refresh, Moira. My brother, YouTube Punk, always helping out, man. Love you, brother. Thank you, man. Canada right here, brutal, but it is what it is, Brett. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. It is what it is. I live by this mantra. Si vis pacem, para bellum. If you want peace, prepare for war. Do you think doubles is the ultimate use of kettlebell training for GPP and or SPP? Oh, that's a great question. I don't think it's the ultimate use. It's just a different use. Doubles can be tough and doubles can be intense, but a 10-minute snatch with a 28 kg can be intense. Way more intense. I'm telling you, a heavy snatch for longer sets of time is way more taxing than a jerk with lighter weights. So, and that question, is something the ultimate? I don't think there is an end-all be-all. I don't think there's absolutes. I think there is context-specific coaching. And on a side note, Cat is doing it differently, and somebody said it in the chat. Cat's technically a beast. Cat is a beast. You gotta follow her, man. I gotta not only say that you have to like and subscribe to this channel, but you also gotta like and subscribe to Cat's Kettlebell Dojo, Luca Corgia, Dan, John, all these heavyweights, Geronimo Milo, all these heavyweights that I had on the podcast, Chandler Marchman, all my brothers and sisters from around the world, the Kettlebell Avengers. You gotta subscribe to these people. So Kat, for example, she says she loves working with doubles, and she thinks that doubles are not. I think I'm paraphrasing. I don't think she said it's easier. She said she doesn't think that doubles are harder than singles. I think, if I'm paraphrasing, if my memory serves me right. And then I realized, and I don't know if I mentioned this in the podcast conversation that I had with Kat, I realized, well, doubles iron casts are a completely different beast than doubles competitions. Doubles competitions, the big ones, they're completely different to handle. If you grab 2 iron casts, 8 kgs, completely different, right? And for those people who don't know, SPP, that's specific sports performance, and GPP is general physical performance. And GPP is something that you use, for example, let's take a tennis player. Getting better at tennis, practicing tennis is his or her SPP. And doing kettlebell training to get stronger and improve cardiovascular output and strength would be the GPP, general physical performance. Great question, man. Dog years, yeah. What do you think about kettlebells for kids? I think it's awesome. Check this out. This is a baby kettlebell. We just call it like this. And we have received this as a gift from our brother Moses Danka. Moses Danka from, and that's a 2 kg, from the Kettlebell Sanctuary in Las Vegas. If you are interested in having your kids learn the art of kettlebell training, talk to my brother Moses Danka. Kettlebell Sanctuary in Las Vegas, if I'm not mistaken. And kettlebells for kids, most definitely. Good day. How should I start kettlebell training now as an overweight 52-year-old construction worker with a bad left knee? Thank you. Have a great day. I would just start with the grinding lifts, easy exercises, maybe a deadlift, maybe a press, and then a bodyweight squat. I'm going a little bit faster, but because I think you guys have been going nuts in the chat. Greg Wick. Igor's always rocking, man. Greg, any thoughts on doing an app? Yeah. I'm not going to do this. I want to focus on the academy. Currently, I want to focus on the academy and the coaching. App, maybe in 5 years or something, but not currently on the map. George, I've been doing a 1 lift a day approach to kettlebell training for a year now. 1 lift a day. I like this, George. What does that mean exactly? Are you just engaging in 1 exercise or 1 lift and then for a couple of reps and you're done? Love to hear this. Clean and press, snatch, get up, swing, squat, loaded carries. What approach do you use for your weekly training and why? And does the routine even matter that much? Thanks, George. Well, you just you've just pointed out the routine in your comment. I do clean and jerks, clean and snatch, clean and press, clean and jerk. I do snatch, I do get ups, I do swing, I do squat, I do carries. Yeah, most definitely. I love this. And what approach do you use for your weekly training? I have a video about this if you're interested. It's called How a Kettlebell Expert Shares His Weekly Training Routine. If you're interested, check this video out. This is where I'm going into detail. And does the routine even matter that much? I think to a certain extent, yes, if you are advancing in your kettlebell journey. If you're just starting out, it's just great to get some movement and start getting accustomed to the kettlebell. And then after you've really gotten used to the kettlebell and want to take it a step deeper, I think routine then matters. Would be interesting to see Lebe Stark version of Dan Johnson University work. Yeah, I saw this. I think that's a great idea from Dan John. Did you ever try 1 rep max in barbell powerlifting every years of kettlebells? No. But my 1 rep max, I never went into powerlifting. But my 1 rep max with the bench was 110 kg, and with the deadlift 170, and the squat was like something 120. But I have to acknowledge the fact that I've lost strength after I started working with kettlebells, because I have built incredible endurance and my leanness have gotten better. I love the way my body looks right now, and I'm incredibly fit. I feel like my energy systems are capable of it. It's nuts what they're capable of. For example, recently I took a small sprint home. Took me a couple of maybe 30 seconds, and I was not breathing anymore. And but if you follow my brother Maverick's Fieldhouse, he's into kettlebells and strength, so he's using fairly monster kettlebells, heavy stuff. So, but maybe if you combine always your heavy lifting with kettlebells, maybe you will see some increase. What do you think about using dumbbells and kettlebells in a workout or as a means to increase strength? I know you talked about barbells, but I don't have them. Using dumbbells and kettlebells in a workout as a means. I mean, dumbbells and kettlebells are a great means to increase strength, because at the end of the day, it's weights. And weight is what matters when you want to increase strength. I think the barbell, the reason why the barbell is so superior to a certain extent is because it's technically easier to load weight. Doesn't have to do a lot with the modality and all by itself, but with the way you treat it and the way the tool can be used. So dumbbells, kettlebells also serve you well to build strength. School of Physical Culture was nice. Thank you for joining, Aliyah. Was awesome. Hello, I can snatch and jerk 24 kg. Would you recommend a second 16 kg if I already know only 32, or a second 20? Want to start doubles but don't want a second kettlebell that I'll leave behind soon? Well, that's a great question. Actually, I don't think you'll never have to leave behind any weights. Why am I saying this? For example, for a couple of exercises, especially the strongman exercises that I sometimes practice, it's an 8 kg that I have to use. For example, with the bras tendu, or the front tendu, or the crucifix, 8 kg. Impossible to use the 12 kg. Then, for example, I'm using a very interesting exercise that I'm calling the stone lock clean. Check out our Instagram if you want to know what this is, or I can demonstrate it to you real quick. And the stone lock clean looks like this. Check this out. Show it. And then, guys, I see. I gotta go faster. I'm doing such a bad job when I'm on these Q&As. I told Angie I'm gonna take about 45 minutes, and now it's 60 minutes because I can't shut up. Check out the stone lock clean. This is awesome, and I'm perfecting this. Let me demonstrate again. This happens. Always make sure if the bell drops, quick feet are happy feet, and you have a floor that's able to cope. Oh, that was beautiful. Woo! That was close. Would you get the idea? I didn't get one beautiful one with the right side. There it is. And that's a 12 kg. Where does that come from? The stone lock clean comes from the stone locks by itself. Google stone locks if you want to find out what they are. I love this idea. It's a Chinese training style, thousands of years old. So, I want to start doubles. I think evergreen weights, Gustavo, is for men is from 16 up to 20 up to 32. And you can always switch up the exercises, and you never have to leave any kettlebell behind. That being said, I would, if you want to go into doubles, maybe a second 16 kg would be better. Doubles with 20 kg. You have to imagine the 24 kg. This is where the professionals start. So, and I'm always using doubles 16 for my workouts, and I love it. Gregory, aiming for that silver play button, most definitely. Your goblet squat tutorial was pivotal to improving my groin injury. I am 43, work full-time at a moving company. Thank you, brother. That's great to hear. Will we continue to have Angie expand on the women's use of kettlebells? I'm pushing Angie, guys. I'm pushing her. Yeah, she's so great. She's just a little bit, she's not scared. She is opening up to the English content more and more. But I don't want to push her too far. I want her to feel safe and comfortable to engage in English content. But most definitely, Angie's a beast, man. Tip for mastering that double hop when doing a double hop? Tip for mastering that double hop when doing a press. The jerk. Or the push press, it's a dip and a bump. You have to go down into the knees and then push up, extend your knees and your hips, and go on your toes, and then boom, the kettlebell comes up. And it's the only tip that I can give you is, brother, is get the right information and then practice. I think I did a tutorial on the push press. If not, let me know in the comments and I gotta do one. Hey, ich habe 12 und 20 Kilo Kettlebell, würde mir mehr kaufen. Soll ich noch mal eine 12 oder unterschiedliche Gewichte? So he's asking, should he buy seconds? He has a 12 kg and a 20 kg. Should he double them? Now buy the second a second kettlebell 12 and 20 kg, or should he buy different weights? I would engage Manu. I would buy different set of weights, because I believe budget wise it's maybe a better idea to opt in for a 16 kg or a 24 than getting a second 12 or 20. Doesn't mean that the doubles are not cool. They're awesome and they're powerful and they serve unique benefits, yet you can stay in shape and reach your goals with singles. So that's my recommendation. Do you prefer to fight one chicken per day? What kind of question is that? Do you prefer to fight one chicken per day for the rest of your life, or a wild boar once per year, but you have a knife? Fight one chicken per day? That's a great question. And the wild boar once per year, maybe the wild boar yields more meat, right? How did they do it back then? I'm actually the wrong person to ask, because I'm such an animal-loving person that I can't even kill a fly. You know what I do when I see a fly? I get one of these cups and then I close them, or spiders. Angie always wants to kill the spiders, but I'm like, boom, I protect them, then I shove a sheet under the cup and then I leave it out. Yeah, so I'm the wrong person to ask, but maybe it would be the wild boar once a year because it yields more meat, but a chicken's easier to fight. Interesting. Do you exercise every day? No. 4 times per week. And rest of the day is walking. Rest of the week, I always walk. I love walking. Jessica, Sean, your lady friend should check out Kettlebell Fitbit. Oh, yeah, most definitely, Jessica. Great recommendation. You guys got I forgot to mention her. She was on the pod as well. Check out Brittany. I just saw Brittany do a 40 kg Turkish get up, and I was like, what? And she makes it look easy. Sean, you shared this in the Lebe Stark group on Facebook. And I saw this there. Fitbit she's a walking tank, man. I think Gregory, yeah, I did this. Yeah, Fitbit. Yes, I follow her. Yeah, you guys have to follow these guys, man. Yeah, you have to. What is your opinion on mace lifting? Man, maces are awesome, man. Maces are awesome. It's a different tool from the same family. I got this description from, I forgot his name, because I wanted to book a session with him. Oh man, I forgot his name. Yeah, but he said this. It's a different tool from the same family. I love the mace. The only thing that I do with the mace is the casts behind the back. I don't do any more complex stuff because I just love doing this. And I use the mace as a warm-up. I also use club bells, but I use them on a surface level. And, when people ask me, like, why are you not engaging more into club bells or maces? Then I'm always saying, because I just want to perfect kettlebells. At the time that I try to learn a new move with the mace, I rather perfect my jerk or long cycle or snatch or whatever have you, especially ballistics with the kettlebell or the stone lock clean that I just showed you, right? So, como Arnado los triceps, how can you train the triceps? With presses. Lebe Stark, gotta say you have the best haircuts coming from a bald guy. Thank you, brother. I just went to the hairdressers. I'm gonna let him know. To my coiffeur. How'd you call him? To my barber. He's my barber and my hairdresser. I'm gonna let him know. He's gonna love this. And I love this guy. He's doing great work. I'm going there once a week because I always want to look like this. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what's up. That's an awesome compliment. Thank you, man. Do you think an EMOM or time-based workout is better? Or a combo during a week? Cheers from across the pond in Canada. We have so many Canadian brothers and sisters in the house. I'm sending you love. Thanks for joining. I think EMOM is a great idea when you engage in hard style swings, for example, where you say 4 minutes. I do 4 sets of 10, 4 minutes EMOM. Then I would use, or 4 sets of 10 hard style swings. You ask me, I'm using a timer-based method. I would use the EMOM. Or if you do these high intensity workouts that I did from my brother Funk Roberts. It's also on the channel. It's called Beat the Clock. It's also a powerful workout. This is also EMOM based, but EMOM maybe can perpetuate to a certain extent the burn mentality. And if that doesn't suit you, if you rather want to take it a step down, then I would just take a timer based approach where you can just relax and put the bell down and go at your own pace. I was thinking, what would Stuart do from Squat University? I asked Squat University to join the pod. He said, yes, I'll be on the podcast. I was like, yeah, but I didn't hear anything back. So I got to get Dr. Aaron Horschig on. Gregory, I just tried your beginner workout yesterday, the one with deadlift, goblet, squat, and press. I thought it was an excellent workout, but I was curious, how do you measure progress? William, yeah, it's awesome, right? Because it's easy. You measure progress by listening to your body, I'd say. If you feel like you're getting comfortable with the exercise, if you feel that it still breaks a sweat, but you feel like, wow, the weight is now getting fairly easier for me to lift and my form is, you're perfecting your form, then this is progress. Perfected form or no more form issues, or you know you can do the exercise without even thinking, and then you feel like the weights are getting easier. And another marker that you can use to track your progress is how intensely are you sweating and how intensely are you breathing. For example, Angie and I, when we do the kettlebell work, the kettlebell has increased our endurance potential to such a massive degree that I feel sometimes during the workouts, I don't even sweat anymore. I'm just a couple of droplets and that's it. And I remember when I started with the kettlebell, I was drenched in sweat. And this reduced because I believe my energy systems have become more efficient in the use of energy. And the second thing that I use as a marker is I feel like I can totally focus and hone in on technique. I can totally focus on perfecting those small little steps without thinking that I'm about to die soon. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Yeah. Been using your videos for 6 months and have added close to 25 pounds of muscle. Danka. Hey, thank you so much. That's awesome to hear, man. I love this feedback. Will you do another collaboration with Geronimo Milo? Of course. Geronimo has joined the Kettlebell Avengers. He's my brother, man. I'm going to talk to him. When I connect with these folks, especially with Geronimo, folks that I connect with, like him, we'll stay in touch forever, man. In 90 DKB, is it fine to use heavy weight with less reps per set, or should you be using a lighter weight for higher rep count? Depends on your goal, Sean. Jakub, I have to go a little bit faster, guys. If you had to choose one exercise with 1 or 2 kettlebells for push, pull, hinge, legs, cardio, one exercise, clean and jerk. I would do the clean and jerk. Why would I do the clean and jerk? Because you have a pull, because you have a hinge, because you do your work your legs, and you work your upper body. And let me demonstrate that for a second. That's just too. Look at me. I'm saying, oh, I got to go faster, and then I take my time for this one question. Man, I need somebody to monitor that stuff. So why do I believe the kettlebell clean and jerk or clean and push press is such a powerful exercise? Because we have the hinge. You mentioned it, right? We have the hinge. So if I work my hinge, I'm working my legs as well. I also have carry because if I rack the weight, I'm racking the weight on my frame. I have to pull because I have to pull the kettlebell out of the horizontal phase, out of that plane. I got to pull it into the vertical plane. And then I have push at the end. So that's what the clean and it's like a clean and press. That's just a clean and strict press. Clean and push press. clean and jerk. And cardio, use lighter weights, go at faster pace. That's what's up. Man, I just love kettlebell. And I gotta go faster, guys. So you guys are still with me. People still in the chat. Thank you so much, man. How would you deal with sore shoulder and rotator cuffs? And anything that's sore, I wouldn't touch it, or I would be very careful. And rotator cuffs, halos, or the Krajewski halo. Did you see the Krajewski halo? Now I can. I gotta get back to the gym floor. But I gotta go faster, guys. Please help me. Guys, if you have any chances to answer the questions that people are asking in the chat, please help me out. Because I know some of you guys are fairly advanced and can help me out right now. So one of the coolest exercise from Dr. Krajewski is this one. Watch this. Krajewski halo. Great exercise for the rotator cuff. Or just presses in general. So, have you tried the End A protocol from Strong First yet? I think somebody asked this question already. No. Pade, bleibt dieser Stream online? Yes. No longer CrossFit at present. Kettlebells only CrossFit that. Interesting. How do you record progress? Technique first, reps later, weight even more later. you already laid it out. Yeah, most definitely. Technique first, reps later, weight even more later. I like this. Great description, brother. Does your app give workouts on it? It's not an app, brother. CrossFit Dad. It's not an app. We have an academy. And you'll see if at the end of the stream, you'll see where you can sign up, and you find a link in the description. It's the first link in the description. It's called 90 Days of Kettlebells. Would you, where are we? Would you suggest to avoid hurting the hands? What do you suggest? Suggest. Be careful with your palm. You see what my palm looks like? Be careful with it. Snatching only 1 or twice per week. Give your palms enough time to heal. Use some good cream. And improve your technique. Yeah, especially with the snatch. Yeah. What are your thoughts on using different size bells for doubles work? Oh, somebody had a great, the uneven practice, right? I think Kat talked about this. Using uneven weights can have some benefit to a certain extent. I forgot what it was. It was one that was very distinct. And I was like, ooh, that's a great idea. That's great. Let me see if I wrote it down. I'll write a lot of things down. Uneven. No. One thing that I saw is when you do uneven lifts, you just switch at halftime, and then you give your other side the same feedback or the same stimulus that the other side had. So that because somebody said I only have a 16 or I only have a 12 and a 16 kg, and when I use doubles, I use 12 and 16 kg, and I'm switching sides after 30 seconds, and I thought that was a great idea. And maybe one thing about the uneven work is maybe your quadratus lumborum, your QL muscle, that's the one that sits deep in your hips. Maybe this one has to work a little bit more because it works intensively in the suitcase walk or in the farmer's walk with one kettlebell. And this can be very beneficial to lower back pain. Have you seen the Pro Kettlebells of Seattle? Looks like a pig snout on the sides, which makes it ergonomic in the rack. Looks helpful to people who still bruise the farms. No, I got to check it out. What's the best exercise to do with kettlebells to correct the hunchback? I think one of the best exercises to correct the hunchback position is working with a stick. Right? The stick is where you connect the stick on your back. 3 points. Let me demonstrate quick. Hunchback positions, because I see so many people are suffering from it. Okay, 10 more minutes, then I'm finished. So hunchback position, you mean this, right? One of the best benefits is just opening up the chest. There are great exercises on the floor. I'm not going to show it to you now, but there's great mobility exercises where you can open up the chest.
One of the most important things is open up your chest and then getting a new feel or a new feedback for your back. So that means stick on the butt, on the back, and then pull your neck back. And this is great feedback for a straight back. And if you feel like, oh, I gotta use so much correction, then that's a place to start where you feel like, okay, now this for me feels normal. But for many people who walk around like this, it's like, okay, I gotta, okay. And another great exercise would be this one. I think it's the Mark Wildman did a great video about this, about the neck exercise. It's a powerful exercise that you really have to engage in. Great for posture. So,
We're almost through, guys. I got it almost. Great. Why do you recommend unbroken reps for a set, Havoc? I already mentioned this because I love continuous work, and I think many people need to work continuously. Doesn't mean that you cannot put the kettlebell down and rest, but I think when people are making the time to train or to work out, because we have to imagine many people, the biggest part of the population, if we draw a line, I got this from Sean Mosen, let's decrease the population, or let's research the people who lift. If this is there's 7 billion people on the planet, this is a very tiny minority who lifts 3 times per week, who has great eating habits and lifts throughout the year. So my focus is on the rest, on that bunch. And so if people start or make time to work out in their daily lives, because it's not a priority, my job as a coach and my idea would be keep moving continuously. And always doing reps and sets and putting stuff down and then waiting for a timer to happen, it's distraction. Then maybe somebody comes in, or maybe you're at the gym and blah, 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 you start talking. Continuous movement. Just purchased 2 16 kg comp kettlebells. Do I really need anything else for now? Been doing in for 6 weeks. Brother, I don't think so. You're safe with the 16 kg. If you feel like you want to get a little bit of more work, maybe you can increase the time and work a little bit longer. And then the next step would be probably, if you've been doing 6 weeks in and you have the fitness that the CrossFit folks have, because they are incredibly fit. That's what we have to acknowledge. CrossFit folks are incredibly fit. Then you can maybe jump up to an 18 kg or even a 20 kg. Dip and bump, that's what's up. My wife is the same. I catch and release spiders, wasps, and beetles. Yeah. I saw this meme. I gotta share this. I saw this meme, okay? This meme with 4 images. On one image, you see the woman like this, and then you see the spider on the floor like, oh. The second image is she wants to kill the spider, and then the man jumps in between, and he's like, no. And then the third, I think it's 5 images. On the third image, he grabs the spider, little Spidey, and then takes it out. And the Spidey's smiling like, oh, thank you, right? So then the next image, you see the couple is sleeping in the bed, and then you hear a noise, boom. I think it's even more images. I can't remember how many images there was. And then on the next image, you see somebody's breaking in the house. And then the guy jumps up. He's like, oh my God, what's happening? On the next image, you see the intruder with the gun aiming at the guy, and he gets a headshot, boom, and his head explodes. And the dude's like, what? And then the final image, the guy looks outside the window, and there you see little Spider with the sniper, like, so he saved his life. So he gave him something back. So he saved his life, right? So yeah, that's the motto that I live by. I love this story. Moira, thank you. Krishma, what do you do to live? What do you do to leaving YouTube? You are very handsome. Thank you. Well, I gotta thank you have to thank my parents for that. It's something, right? This is something that you cannot change, because I'm always having these discussions with people. It's like your face is something, your facial features, that's something that you cannot change. But there's a lot of stuff that I don't like about my face, but I've accepted it. But much of it is genetics, right? But what I do think, what really plays a role, just on a side note, nothing related to kettlebells, is your attitude. Your attitude goes miles. Guys, if you're smiling, if you're upbeat, and if it's not fake, if it's not on the surface, if it really comes from the heart, people notice, man. What do you do to live? I'm a personal trainer and a YouTuber. Kettlebells, Mace Clubs, that's what's up, man. Vin Diesel approves. Yeah. I'm 14-year-old Grishma. Oh, you're 14 years old and you're playing cricket. And I like to do calisthenics. Awesome. I love to do core workouts. What exercises should I do to improve strength and core? Swings, deadlifts, squats. But you're 14, so you better talk to your parents before you start engaging with kettlebells. And if you want to engage in kettlebells and you're showing this video to your parents and they're watching, then tell them they have to talk to Moses Danka from the Kettlebell Sanctuary in Las Vegas, because he focuses on teenagers who are working with kettlebells, and I think some of them also play sports, and some of them also use kettlebells as a sport. Okay, show this your parents. I think kettlebells can be a great tool of choice and a great support system, great general physical performance for you as a sports or cricket player. Yeah, YouTube Punk, you got this, man. Can you get Mark Wildman on the podcast? Yeah, why not? Got to reach out to him. He's working from the top, so we'll get to your question. Thank you, brother, man. You're awesome, man. YouTube Punk, my brother. Which kettlebell exercise do you think works out the stomach? The stomach? You mean the abdominals? Everything that's kettlebell related and ballistic related. Swing, clean, snatch. Great exercise to work the abdominals. And I think one of the biggest questions that we always have to differentiate. The one thing is, do I want to do work for my abdominals for aesthetics? Because then the answer would be, you got to upgrade your nutrition. And I know there are coaches who can help you really building your abdominal wall and getting stronger and making it look bigger. But at the end of the day, if it's not visible, if there's a layers of fats around your abdominals, they're never visible. So no exercise in the world will make your abdominals visible. So that's one thing. But when it comes to core strength, abdominal strength, kettlebells they're powerful. And yeah, the front squat, yeah. I also heard about the Zerka squat. The Zerka squat is also a powerful idea to work the core and your abdominals. Yet, we always think about, I want to work, or I want to do an exercise where the core or where the abdominals have to additionally work. Yet you have to imagine, when you engage with a swing, your whole system around here, your lower back, your sides, your hips, and your abdominals work. So in that regard, I would probably opt in for the swing. Do you train fasted? No. Halo with the kettlebell? Haha, exactly. Baba. Faster. Yeah, I'm so slow, man. I'm so slow. But I'm catching up. Can you use kettlebell training alongside a push-pull leg bodybuilding split? It's always tough questions. Because if your bodybuilding split is already consuming lots of time, maybe kettlebells, if you try to fit in kettlebells, it's maybe too much. Maybe you start messing with your recuperation or regeneration of your body. And the other question is, what is your goal? If you want to build maximum hypertrophy, for example, maximum muscle building, and that's the reason why you do that bodybuilding type split for, then go ahead and do it. I don't think you need kettlebells for that. But if you want to maybe open up your foundations and say, okay, I want to touch more bases than just muscle building, because that's where I come from, then maybe you want to downgrade some of your bodybuilding work and then use kettlebells. I would always be careful with adding more work throughout the week. Sniper Spider, yeah, that's what's up. What do you think is the perfect amount of time you should exercise for all aspects Again, what do you think is the perfect amount of time you should exercise for all aspects, endurance, strength, muscle, etc.? I think Mark Wildman said you need at least 1 hour of exercise. Love from India. Sending you love back. Well, like I mentioned before, please watch this video that I did about my workout routine. Our workout routines are 30 minutes max. And I do agree that if you want to build maximum hypertrophy, let's focus on hypertrophy, then you want to hit every muscle group at least 10 sets per week when we listen to what Dr. Brad Schoenfeld says. So if you want to hit every muscle group 10 sets per week, at least 10 sets per week, that means with your split, maybe upper body, lower body, 4 times a week, you will invest, let's say, like 45 minutes of work maybe, or even longer, with traffic and going to the gym and blah, blah, blah. But what counts at the end of the day is probably time on attention. And time on attention will probably equal to 20 minutes at the end if you do a 40-minute session, if you understand where I'm coming from. And it's always context specific. So it's very hard for us. You see for us folks or coaches who share stuff on YouTube, it's so hard to give you a absolution because it's always nuanced and context specific. Why do you build endurance? What are you using that endurance for? How much time do you have at your disposal? Are you trying to touch more bases? Do you have other training modalities? Do you have only access to one particular training modality? So on and so forth. Hi, can I replace dumbbells with kettlebells? I have a few kettlebells, heavy, light, and both. I just don't like visiting the gym. Most definitely. You can replace them, most definitely. I'd like to hear from Mark too, yeah? One last thing, Gregory. I would like to see a reaction to Marcus Philly. Just start. Yeah, I've seen Marcus Philly. I've seen what he does. He's very solid, and I think he was a CrossFit athlete, right? I mean, he looks like a house. I just want to stay fit. Don't have an aim of getting giant. So is it fine to lift kettlebells of 16 to 20 kg? Most definitely, Guraf. Yeah, 16. Maybe start with a 12 kg if you're not used to kettlebells. 12, 16. Or 12, 16, 20, and you're safe. Desert Stars. How can Peloton spin classes complement my kettlebell training and vice versa? Is spinning classes? Like I said, it's always tricky. I mean, if you are engaging in a particular exercise or a particular training modality that serves you a lot of benefit, that you can use as skill transfer from one part into the other. For example, your rowing or your cycling allows your body to build better endurance. So now you start working with kettlebells. So that means you don't get tired as quickly. You don't have to put the kettlebell down as quickly. That means you get more work done. You can work better according to the law of exercise. Your technique will improve faster, maybe. These are just aspects. And the kettlebell is just mostly focused on the hips. And most people are so weak in the hips, and maybe not even weak, but they don't know how to target the hips. And if you get strong hips thanks to kettlebell training, that's why you have such a huge skill transfer into so many sports, because where is your strength center? Where is it? In your hips. If you have strong hips, you're safe. What inspired you to focus on kettlebells and reach out to Steve for education certification? Oh, that's a great question. I think I was like, I love kettlebell. No, that wasn't back then. Back then it was like, yeah, I want to get certified with kettlebells, and I finally got enough money that I'm able to invite a heavyweight like Steve Carter is. And I was drawn to Steve because of his coaching style. And I was like, yeah, I need to get some certs on the wall. I think that was the idea. I need to get some certs on the wall, and I want to talk to the best. And I think then my mind, when I started working with kettlebells, my mind kind of gravitated from getting a certification on the wall to I want to learn everything there is about the kettlebell. And I want to become, I want to build my community around kettlebells. But that happened, I think that happened in the pandemic. When the pandemic hit, I can't quite pinpoint it. But I knew I got to talk to Steve and I got to get a cert. And I want to learn from the best. And so thanks to Steve Carter, and then later the pandemic, I dedicated almost all of my time to the kettlebell. That Thor hammer looks cool, but comes off as a gimmick. Yeah, but that's just my uninformed opinion. Brother, I love you, man. I love this. I got this from this great book, How to Read a Book. It's a very complex book to read. But one thing I think I got this from that book was people are either rightly informed, misinformed, ill-informed, or illogical. That's a great conclusion. Yeah, the Thor hammer. That's not a kettlebell. That's it. Completely different. It's not a kettlebell. Looks funny, looks interesting, looks like a piece of art, but it's not a kettlebell. Smoke Jaguar, thank you so much for the $2 donation. Can you get super shredded with just kettlebells? Getting super shredded is a question of your nutrition. Simple as that. People always think that, well, if I burn enough calories with my kettlebells or with my kettlebell training, then I can eat whatever I want. Guys, just even a protein bar has 240 calories. You gotta go balls to the walls if you want to burn 240 calories with your kettlebell. And don't be fooled by these numbers that people put up. You never burn 400 calories per hour with a kettlebell workout unless you want to kill yourself and destroy yourself. So nutrition is the key to getting super, I'm talking about super shredded. Back then, there's this book that I'm having. This is me. That was 2013. That's me, 2013. I think at that level, I had a body fat percentage of 9%. I think I was 9% in that image. 8 or 9%. And it was all nutrition. It was all nutrition. Of course, I lifted. Back then, I lifted, typical bodybuilding type splits. And yeah. So you can get in decent shape with kettlebells, but super shredded, it's always a question about nutrition. Yeah, he's a freak, Brett. I don't know why. Sometimes, guys, YouTube is deleting your comments, and that's, guys. Please, you have to acknowledge this. Or I wanna put this disclaimer out when you watch our YouTube videos. There's some of the people that are joining right now who watch our YouTube videos on a regular. When you are posting videos or content, sometimes YouTube puts this on review, and I have to hit the review tab and then release those comments. So never think that I'm deleting comments or that YouTube is doing something nefarious. It's just something when you put links or YouTube videos into a comment, then YouTube's like, Gregory, you gotta approve this. Okay? Just wanted to put this out. So I'm almost through, guys. Any suggestions for working on form and technique while dealing with weight and momentum? Any suggestions for working on form and technique while dealing with weight and momentum? George, I don't understand your question. I mean, working on form and technique is just using weights you're comfortable with. And that's the idea of mastering form and technique, is to get used to the momentum. That's what the kettlebell, we always call it the unpredictable element. The ballistic element of the kettlebell, or as you probably say it, or maybe you mean something different, but I believe that's the perspective that you're having, is momentum. We're not used to it. That's why it's unpredictable and it's hard to control when you start working with kettlebells. So the only solution is practice, practice, practice. Do you plan any reaction videos about technique or training from your fans? We can send you a YouTube link too. Brother, we do this with our clients in the academy. So I am sending form checks out to people who choose to opt into our academy. That's reserved for our folks. But yeah, because the reason why, but it would be a great idea on the other hand. But when people pay for this, and I don't want to, make other people feel like who paid for the service, like, oh, now he does it for free. So I hope you understand this. It's a paid service. Yeah, and that's where it stands. As a hockey player, it saddens me I didn't have these training techniques for hip mobility. Man, you should coach Team Switzerland so maybe they can catch Canada one day. I think Canada you guys are killers when it comes to hockey, right? I don't think anybody's going to beat you anytime soon. Even though I think Switzerland's pretty solid. I'm not very up to date when it comes to hockey. But as you're saying, these training models, the kettlebell lends itself so well, especially hockey. wow. Hardstyle swings, hybrid swings, press, squats, doubles, former carries, heavy, medium, moderate. This is how I would do it. This is how I would build these guys in the GPP. Not destroying themselves, but I would say like, okay guys, we have day 1 heavy, where we lift heavy, we go heavy, yet with enough rest. And then we have day 2 in the gym, would be like, okay, now it's strength endurance. With kettlebells, man, skill transfer so high. You're so right. Comments are helpful moderation have to be approved, most definitely. Will Lebe Stark, How to Read a Book, that's by a philosopher, right? Yeah, I can't remember the name, but it's a very complex book. And right now I'm reading Special Strength Training in Sports Science, I think it's called, from Dr. Yuri Verkhoshansky. Pavel talks about him a lot. I started reading this book, the first couple of pages, I was like, what? But thank God I kept going. It's a treasure. I have to do a video on it soon. Will Lebe Stark eventually host workouts and training sessions in the metaverse? That's a great question. Oh, I'm not a huge fan of the metaverse because I'm not a huge fan of Zuckerberg. But man, I'm using Facebook, so who knows? Have you ever tried kettlebell marathon training? Yeah, it blows my mind that people can cycle without putting the bells down. Mark, I did this. You can search our channel. It's a 60 minutes workout. Yeah, we did it. We did 15 minutes of swings, 15 minutes of clean and jerk with one arm switch in between sides, switching after halftime, 15 minutes of snatches, and 15 minutes of cleans. Yeah, it was 1 hour. It's a marathon. We got to do this again. Oh, I'm sorry. Guess my polar heart rate is wrong then. I got 400 calories way off from shedding. Yeah, Sean, I think it's completely overrated. Completely overrated, guys. And I think it's maybe I can give you guys a different perspective, because thinking about the calories you burn during a workout means you're only satisfied, or for many people it's that way. You think, okay, now I'm using exercise and training for weight loss. And while it is helpful, it is not the reason why people lose weight. We have to set the record straight. The reason why people lose weight is because they adjust their diet. And training is helpful and serves monstrable, in crazy amounts of benefits. But it's not the causation why people lose weight. It's a reality. And people still live in that idea like, wow, I burned, like you, Sean, I burned 400 calories. Whoa, now I can go eat a pizza. I'm not saying that's you, Sean, but that's how people think. We burn way less calories. And especially if you don't want to kill yourself. And then you treat training, that's my mission. My mission is to share with you guys that you want to treat training and workouts set apart as a different pillar that helps you get in shape, but it's not the only causation. It's not about the calories you burn during the workout, even though it makes sense. For example, why I'm saying don't do curls when you want to lose weight. Why? Use your whole body, because this may burn more calories and engage your whole body as a unit. That's why I believe a clean or a swing makes more sense. So in that regard, you see how nuanced this is? So maybe in that regard, I do understand that you want to put an eye on the calories, or saying listen, when I work out, I want to do everything standing because I'm sitting all day. So I go into the gym, now I'm sitting again? Doesn't make sense. I want to stand the whole time. And then maybe do carries, which is a great form of exercise. But diet is incredibly important when it comes to losing weight. Yeah, they're getting way better. More Swiss pros in the NHL. Yeah, I heard this, Brett. I heard that Mark Streit, right? That's a Swiss guy who was in the NHL, I think. Yeah. Awesome. There's talent everywhere in the world. That's beautiful. Do you plan any reaction videos about technique? Oh, you said this, right? I already answered this. Yeah. Mortimer J. Oh, yes, YouTube pump. Mortimer J. Adler is the author of How to Read a Book. Yeah, Mortimer. Most definitely. Thanks for going into overtime. Yep. Joaquin, where you from? I am from Switzerland. But my heritage is Roma. We are gypsies. I love this. We're gypsies, man. My father's a gypsy. A Roma. But I consider myself Swiss because I live in this country my whole life. I love this country. I love being in this place because it's like I said, I mentioned in the beginning of the stream, it's the oasis of Europe and maybe of the whole world. Switzerland is like Singapore. They say Singapore is the Switzerland of Asia, right? Yeah. What are the benefits of the long cycle? The benefits of the long cycle. I think the long cycle is one of the most powerful exercises with doubles that you can do. And the benefits, let's put it into a different perspective. The long cycle is nothing less but a clean and jerk. And doesn't matter if you do it with doubles or with one arm. The powerful idea of a long cycle or a clean and jerk in that regard is you have a full body exercise. Where other people in the gym have to sit on the leg press, the lat pull down, the row, the leg extension, the lower back extension, the crunch, the ab crunch, the rotator, and they have to go on the treadmill. You do this with one exercise, the clean and jerk or the long cycle when you use 2 kettlebells. So guys, thank you so much for joining. I'm all caught up. Thanks, Gret. I'm tracking my macros now because I found that things were still off even following your routines. See, Sean? And guys, when you track your eating habits or you track your calories, don't get too focused on. Let me give you a couple of examples. How one of our clients, she lost now, I think it's 4 pounds in 1 month, which is powerful. How did we do it? Simple. Eat 1 fruit a day. That was her first task. Eat 1 fruit a day. Work out 3 times per week. She shows up 3 times per week. She always shows up and she does the work. And when it comes to nutrition, 1 fruit per day. So in that 1 month, she was able to eat 30 fruits. More vitamins, more water, better decisions, and maybe even some fiber, depending on the fruit you're eating. Great. Helped her shed some pounds. Now we have the second step. Keep eating your fruit and add 1 serving of veggies per day. You want to add good habits to your existing bad ones, so to speak, so that the good ones push away the bad ones. That's the idea. And tracking can be helpful, yet for many people it may be detrimental because then they're like, oh, I ate too much. Now I gotta go run. I gotta get on the bike. I gotta do kettlebells. And I do understand the perspective, but it's a scared perspective. It's a perspective based in anxiety. And I do understand that it's hard to cope with this, but the idea is maybe if you feel like the tracking is giving you a hard time, shove it aside. Shove it aside. These are all tools. That's one thing that I want to mention at the end. You have a principle and you have a method. The principle is we have to burn more calories than we eat in order to lose weight. That's a principle that we cannot change. The method can be eating fruits, eating more veggies, decreasing portion sizes, eating more protein, eating more veggies, I already mentioned this, or tracking your calories. These are just methods. So don't get hung up on the methods. So, guys, you keep asking questions. Love you guys, but I got to stop. Going into all full speed mode. As a pure kettlebell, can we achieve Greek body? Yes, you can. But watch your nutrition. My best to you. Thank you, brother, man. Hope your brother's doing better. Yeah, he's doing great now. I can take him home next week, and he's able to walk. Yeah, all of the guardian angels in our province were at work that day or that evening. Who's your GOAT of tennis? I don't watch tennis, but I'm a Swiss, so I think Roger takes the cake for me. But I don't care about that sport. But I think Roger, yeah. The reason why I think Roger's the GOAT is because of his personality. I love Roger Federer's personality. He's like that down-to-earth guy. Even though he's a monster. But he's always, I loved it. That's a role model when it comes to handling fame and money and celebrity status. He's the GOAT, man. Protein sources. There are enough. There's many. From animals, totally fine. For vegetarians, from greens and what is it? Animal and veggie sources, all kinds of, or vegan or vegetarian sources, whatever rocks your boat. Greg, you're so underappreciated for the time and the commitment you give to your followers. This time is epic. Thank you. Thank you, brother, man. I just love it. I just love it. And you guys are giving me back so much that it's my duty to do what I do. What's your advice for a failed day? A day where you sleep in or eat out instead of working out and have a large pizza? Own it and enjoy it. And I don't even think it's a failed day because nobody's perfect. What does the word even have to, the word even, ignore the word that I said even. We eat pizza. We eat out. We sleep all day. We do this. It's called being human, and that's totally fine. As long as it's not overboarding and you're getting in a habit of working out and eating veggies and things, totally fine. If it's overboarding, then it's like, okay, maybe I have to change something. But we are human, and we have an ancient brain in a modern world. The ancient brain is always looking for calories and hypocaloric foods and highly palatable foods, and we are bombarded with messaging of foods all around it, all 24/7. It's not easy for us to cope with this. So it's not a failed day. Take your shoes off, relax, and then go back at it the next day. Huzzah. Still waiting for a video about taking care of your hands. My palms up. Like I said, improve technique. And when it comes to snatching and swinging, don't swing too much. Don't snatch too much. At least maximum 1 to 2 weeks, 1 to 2 times per week if you are a beginner. So, yeah, and whey. Whey is a great protein source as well. Thank you for helping out, Amy. So, guys, this is it. Thank you so much for joining. I really enjoyed it. And I catch you on the next one. Peace and love from this dude in Switzerland.
90 Days of Kettlebells is an online workout course for beginners who want to train at home, lose weight, and achieve lasting results without wasting time and money with crash diets and unused gym memberships. The program works as follows. You will do 3 kettlebell workouts per week that gradually increase in difficulty. You'll also build 3 powerful eating habits that have proven successful in our coaching. As the name implies, the program lasts 90 days and you will have lifelong access after purchase. We also include live accountability sessions where you will publicly state your goals. Psychology shows us that if we make our goals public, our adherence to the process and the program increases dramatically. If you have been struggling to put together an elaborate kettlebell workout system while trying to lose weight, then 90 Days of Kettlebells is for you. The price of 90 Days of Kettlebells is $59 per month for 3 months, and you can save 20% with a one-time payment of $147. We'll open registration only to a small number of new clients. Join the waiting list now to get access 24 hours before the general public. Link is in the description.